John Smith told me this years ago when I was, I guess I was a senior and kind of a one-on-one training session. And he said this, and I explained this to my parents and my athletes nonstop. And it's important because a lot of people quit and then they say they got burned out. And I'm like, you only practice 2 hours a week. It's just a convenient excuse, okay? Not that people don't get burned out. I don't need all the hate comments, okay? I get it. If you're waking a 8-year-old up in the morning and you're making him run 10 miles, okay, he's going to be burned out. But generally speaking, it's just a term that's used a lot by kids who aren't winning everything all the time. Or parents are like, this ain't working. We got to do something else. John Smith taught me this. And I was a senior in college, and after college wrestling, I started my life. And I think about this nonstop over the past 30 years since I've graduated, and has helped me tremendously in building the big wrestling company. He said this: your goal is to put in a lot of time and a lot of years at your craft, knowing that you're going to strike gold. And he did this a few times. At the end of your journey, you can sit back and say, I'm a success. I've had a successful career. You're probably not going to strike gold every time. I did have a parent years ago, I don't know, it feels like 3 or 4 years ago, it's probably a decade ago. His son was like, won kid state twice, was always placed at the national tournaments. I think even won USA Nationals one time, which that's a legit youth wrestling tournament, okay? And, I think there was like 2 years where he didn't win state. 4th and a 2nd, if I remember correctly. And he's just felt like he wasn't getting better. And I'm like, he's already won a couple state titles. He won kids nationals last year. He got 4th at state. Sure, maybe didn't have a great tournament. Won kids nationals. That should make up for it. But what happens is we want to strike gold, and have like a 10-year wrestling career where we go 900-0 with 900 pins and we get all these gold medals. You're not going to. You're not. You need to expect not to win. And I know it sounds anti-coaching stud talk. You're just not. You're not. Michael Jordan talks about this. Tom Brady talks about this. All the famous coaches talk about it. You are not going to go undefeated the rest of your life. So I would say you want to look. Now, Thomas Gilman, who I follow him on social media, and I saw his Instagram page one time, and it said something like 2nd in the world, 3rd in the world, 3rd in the world, or something. And then the next 3 years it said, and he put this on his bio, it said nothing. 2021, nothing. 2022, nothing. He had nothing. And see, that's bold language that you should use with yourself. Now, he's an All-American at Iowa in college, not a national champ, All-American. That's success. And he won some world medals. And then there was some nothing. Right after that was world champion. Or maybe it was 2nd in the world, then world champion. I haven't looked. It's been a few months. So, was he a complete, total loser failure? During those years where he was only medaling in the world and where he had nothing. Now, that doesn't mean he got pinned 27 times that year and never won a match. He wrestled in the world championships, but didn't medal. So that's called nothing. in his mind. Most of us would say, when we evaluate someone else, we're like, dude, what are you talking about? Nothing. You made it to the World Championships. You won the U.S. Open. You won the World Team Trials. Oh, second in the Olympics, then a world title after the 3-0. But see, we can look at someone else and we evaluate them so generously and actually just realistically. Like, dude, you made the world tournament, you wrestled in the World Championships. And look at you've got gold medals. None of them are gold, but dude, I would love to have a couple of those. But see, when we evaluate ourselves, or when we evaluate our kids who we're dumping time into and money, all right, we don't want to see any silver. We don't want to see it. We can't emotionally handle it, some of us. And then our kids can't handle it. And we wonder why our kids choke and fall apart and don't wrestle well. It's because we view failure like failure. I'm like, dude, you're not a failure. You just haven't struck gold every time. 3rd-year wrestler, qualified for state, won a match in wrestlebacks. Sometimes the kid and parents aren't happy. I'm like, dude, I can't say this to you, so I'm biting my tongue, but your son's wrestling last year was a little bit embarrassing, a little bit terrible, kind of hard to watch, and he rose above it. And now look at him, he qualified for the state tournament in kids wrestling. And there's only one state champion in kids wrestling. It's not like, some states have 6 state champions per weight. It's harder to win a state title in Pee Wee wrestling than it is high school sometimes. Now, sure, there's a weight class every 3 or 4 pounds. And in high school, there's a weight class every 5 pounds. So you can use that as an excuse, but I don't care. Winning Pee Wee state is difficult. He won a match, right? And then the next year, let's see what we can do. So I think we need to follow the John Smith advice, okay? Now, I'm getting ready. I've been on a few hunts to Canada, and this is important. You should listen. There's a famous guy named Chuck Adams. He's the first guy to harvest every North American big game animal with a bow and arrow, and they're all trophy book. He didn't shoot anything that wasn't a trophy. It took him like 23 years. Now there's been a few guys who have done it recently, and one guy has done it with a recurve. My brother actually hunted with him in Canada, and I hunt with a recurve too, so I can't imagine that the guy could do that. But Chuck Adams said, I know that I'm probably not going to succeed. And I always tell myself that. A lot of things have to go right. That's the reason I enjoy this so much. Because it's a lot of time. It's a lot of money, right? Because some of these areas you can't hunt without a guide. Oh, $7,000. There's $8,000, right? And he's like, you're giving up so much of your time and money to do this. And there's a lot on the line. And it gets to be frustrating. Sometimes you might hunt something 5, 6, 7 years in a row before you harvest the animal. He's like, I have to see an animal. I have to see and make sure it has to be a trophy. I have to get within 40 yards or less of it with my bow and arrow, a compound. The wind cannot swirl. I cannot break a twig. I cannot bust a turkey or a deer or any other animal in the area that might spook this animal. Then I have to make a perfect shot. Then I have to recover the animal. Only then do I succeed. He's like, I'm going to assume that it's probably not going to happen because I know it's probably not. Now, am I telling you to assume that you're not going to accomplish your goals? No. But I'm going to assume that I am not going to hit a grand slam or a home run and never get a strike and never ground out and never hit a pop fly, I'm not going to assume that that's going to happen either. So I think it's kind of smart to take Chuck Adams' approach and say, hey, a lot of things have to go right here. You know, you just look at the injuries, right? We've all had them. I wrestled my senior year in college with 2 rows of tape on my ankle, a torn ligament in my ankle. Okay, thumb ripped out of socket my whole freshman year. Now, are those excuses for not winning an NCAA title, even though I was ranked number 1 in the nation? No, but it made it hard. It made it more difficult. Now, there's people who've won NCAA titles with worse injuries than that. But I know a guy, Brad Penrith, he was ranked number 2 in the world. He tore his knee, he tore ligaments in his knee and could not even try out for the Olympics. That's the year Kendall Cross made the team and won the Olympics. Now, am I saying that Penrith would have made the Olympic team? No. But he had never lost to Kendall, I don't think, ever. Does that mean Penrith, if he did make the team, would have won the Olympics like Kendall did? Who knows? Was that bad luck that he tore 3 ligaments in his knee 6 weeks before the Olympic trials? Yes. There's a lot of stuff that has to go right. So I think John Smith's approach is very smart. It takes pressure off because we're adding some realism. It's realistic. You set yourself up for failure when you don't use common sense. And hey, I worked hard, my son worked hard, my daughter worked hard, and I put money into this, and I put time. So, what? You don't think the other kids did the same stuff? Nobody works harder than me and my kid. I doubt that. I doubt that. The other people, there's a few of them that probably deserve to win just like you do. So, stay the course. Make sure you're improving. Don't freak out if something doesn't go your way. You might mess up a little bit. Dang it, I messed up. Okay. React with that intellectually, not emotionally. Try to do some groundwork about how we can keep that from happening again. Have a smile on my face. Go again. Just go again. See, David Goggins says this. He's like, we give so much power to words. He's like, people say you failed, and he goes, I didn't fail shit. That was an attempt. He's like, I don't give a crap. You can't tell me I failed. I don't give power to these words. You know, we're not going to ever get criticized by people doing more than us. They're always doing less, right? He's like, I didn't fail anything. I didn't fail one bit. That was an attempt. And so I think sometimes we have to look at it like that. Now I'm going to break your heart. Your son or daughter is not going to go undefeated the next 5 to 20 years and win 3 Olympic gold medals and tech fall their way through the NCAA tournament and never lose a match and never get taken down ever again. They are not, and we have to come to grips with that. And we have to also understand that sometimes just because you won the state title last year doesn't mean you're going to win it again. It's hard. Why did Thomas Gilman have 3 years of nothing? Because it is very hard. It is very hard. You are signing up for a competition, not a guarantee. And some people cannot emotionally handle what it takes. They don't have it. And that's the reason I like putting these videos out, because John's video made perfect sense to me. And so, what about when your wrestling's over? Well, there's another chapter in your life, right? So I've got chapters here. Chapter in a book, right? Oh, okay. Well, look, on your deathbed when you're 80 years old, you can look back and say, all my chapters of my life, some of them were sports, some of them were marriage, some of them were this, some of them were that. I have a lot of winning chapters in my life. So I don't think we should dump all of our eggs into an athletic basket anyway. Let's look at our life over the course of decades and see if we can strike gold a few times. And you must expect that sometimes you may not accomplish the gold medal goal. It doesn't mean you weren't successful. It means that wasn't a gold medal victory. And so I think John's talk and his little explanation to me was very helpful. And I wish I had that when I was 11 when I started wrestling. And that's the reason I'm sharing it here. So hopefully we can kind of emotionally work through this. So thank you for watching. You can hit subscribe, hit the like, hit it, give me a nice comment. Some people only comment when they want to troll, okay? I love it. That's good, whatever you want to do. But, you know, if you comment and you share it, then you see more of our stuff. Because, you know, we have 200-something thousand followers on all platforms. There's a good chance you're not going to see our stuff. So if you like the stuff, you should like it. And comment and share on occasion. And then, you know, the AI algorithm will make sure that you constantly see it. But either way, I think you should share this and watch it and adopt a better mentality, because I think it's important for longevity in the sport, because everything is about longevity. Just outlast them. I know when I started my wrestling business in 99, 2000, you know, we had coaches like, if you go to Purler, I'm kicking you off of my team. I just laughed about it. I'm like, dude, I'll outlast you. All right, now here I'm 54 years old. Those guys are all gone. I have youth wrestlers who are athletic directors at their high school now. They're begging me to run academy rooms in their school. They're calling me. I'm like, dude, leave me alone. No, I don't want, I can't do it. We're too busy. But before I had to like beg, you know, but it is longevity. I saw it as a wrestling career, and I saw it as a business career, and I think that we start looking at longevity in the sport. I just have to outlast you. Drake Haldershot was NCAA champ for us. He wrestled at Mizzou, and he trained in our room since he was 9. When he was 9 to 11, he used to get beat so bad his dad would have to sit in the car because I can't watch it. Kid went on to, you know, won a couple state titles, second in the nation in high school, highly recruited, went to Mizzou, was ranked #1 in America as a junior, got 4th. Success, but not a gold strike, but still success, right? That's pretty good. And then the next year he was ranked 4th in the nation and got 1st, won the NCAA title. Struck gold, good for him, right? And his dad tells me to this day, I was just hanging out with him about 2 months ago at his lake house in Oklahoma. We went and bought some guns and did some shooting. It was a blast. We had a good visit. And Andy's like, dude, longevity. Outlast him. Longevity in the sport. He's #3 right now in Quick Trip, a big, you know, gas station company here in the Midwest. He started at Quick Trip when he was 16. He's now 52. He's like, that's what I've done. Now I'm #3 in the company. Why? Because of longevity. And he's like, dude, listen to some of your talks at practice. Help me as a man. And I kept telling Drake, just stick it out. It's okay. Just stick it out. Senior year in high school, winning this national finals, just destroying a kid 11-2, got headlocked and pinned. Okay, no big deal. Stick it out. Now he's NCAA champion. So, you know, I could go on and on, but I won't. PurlerWrestling.com. If you had interest in training with us, that's the place. If not, either way, we wish you great success.